Alright, what is going on, guys? Got another breakdown for UFC 285. Prelim fight here at strawweight. We got Jessica Penne taking on Tabatha Ricci. Penne's going to have a 5-inch advantage in reach. She's also 4 inches taller. Tabatha Ricci generally at a size disadvantage in her fights. So I guess I'll start with her. Riding a 2-fight winning streak after getting beat down by Manon Fior in her UFC debut. So it's going to happen. Didn't really get anything going in that fight. It was on short notice, but again, nothing to really get upset at there. Manon Fior is legit, and she's won her last 2 fights, albeit a little dicey. Her striking seems to be making strides. She's good at exploding forward and just landing these 3-4 punch combinations. It seems like only one or two of them get through, not much sting on them. And she is there to get hit on entries a lot because, again, she is just at a size disadvantage in just about all of these fights. Which, I mean, look, for betting purposes, at least, you have a lot of tape on what Ricci looks like at a reach disadvantage, so it's not like a complete mystery. But, against Polyana Vienna, I think she won all 3 rounds, so solid win, but, all of those rounds were close. It was, I would say Vienna was more or less winning on the feet, just clipping her with entries, landing some body kicks and leg kicks here and there, just using her range effectively. And Ricci was kind of matching her output, maybe a little bit more, but just absolutely no sting on these shots. Not a very good look for the judges, but she did manage to just drive through and get 3 or 4 takedowns throughout the fight, managed to hold her down more or less, or Polyana Vienna was content to just stay on her back, play in her guard a little bit, and Ricci was able to run away with that fight, but again, a little dicey. I mean, she's gonna be the far younger fighter here. That's the one thing she's got going for her, big time. I mean, she's got a couple things going for her, but it's a big factor for this fight. But yeah, Tabatha Ricci coming along. I think the UFC definitely wants her to win this matchup based on the matchmaking. It's like it's one of those things where not every fight the UFC is making it with a desired outcome in mind, but you just gotta look at the basics here. Jessica Penne, not much longer left in her career. Probably could be her last fight or maybe one more. But there's a very good chance this could be her last fight. She's 40 years old, and Tabatha Ricci has won 2 fights in a row. She's moving on up in the world. It would be a lot better for the promotion to just have at least one more fighter who, has some upward mobility. So that is worth keeping in mind. There's a few intangibles I think that are worth keeping in mind for this fight. But for Penne, like I said, 40 years old, gonna have that reach advantage, and she's definitely capable of doing the things that have given Tabatha Ricci some issues in the last couple fights. She's got good jiu-jitsu herself, or at least she thinks she does, and she might play around on her back a little bit too much in this one. I think that would be to her detriment, but she did pick up an armbar 2 fights ago against Karolina Kowalkiewicz, who had lost 4 in a row at that point, so take it with a grain of salt. But she does have the win over Lupita Godinez. Godinez has somewhat struggled in the past with taller fighters, so it is what it is. It's a good win on her record, and you look at some of the losses here to top dog Jessica Andrade, Joanna Jędrzejczyk, and in her last fight against Emily Ducote, she's got outstruck in that one more or less. Ducote landing a lot of leg kicks. She's very susceptible to leg kicks, and Tabatha Ricci does throw leg kicks, but just like most of her striking, just absolutely no sting on it. Ducote was throwing much better leg kicks than I think we'll see Ricci throwing, unless she's made a lot of strides in the last 6 months. But yeah, she was outworked by Ducote, couldn't get the takedown game going, and it was a rather comfortable decision. And again, the age is really working against Jessica Penne here. You got to wonder how she's going to look in a fight that's a little bit more high-paced. The Ducote fight wasn't that high-paced. Ducote was comfortable to play at range more or less for most of that fight, and I think in this fight we're going to see Tabatha Ricci shooting all 3 rounds. It's going to be a more exhausting fight where that the younger fighter is going to have a lot more of an advantage as the fight goes on, you would think. But yeah, again, she's going to have those weapons to keep Ricci at range and catch her coming in on some of these entries, and it could end up looking like Jessica Penne is the cleaner striker on the feet. Again, I'm just not super sold on Tabatha Ricci. I think it's just not good optics for the judges. But we look at the odds here, and obviously Tabatha Ricci coming in as a solid favorite at -305. Jessica Penne coming back +255. The fight is expected to go the distance, over 2.5 rounds, -300. So, yeah, I agree with that. I think Tabatha Ricci is just going to get these takedowns and just stay on top, wear on her gas tank, and that game plan is going to pay dividends in the second and third round. I think she'll be able to stay out of Jessica Penne's sub game on the bottom. She's navigated tougher jiu-jitsu specialist than that, but this is a fight where I think 91% on Tapology. I just might have closed the tab, but yeah, I think it's 91%. We'll confirm real quick, but yeah, everybody's picking Tabatha Ricci as they should. Yeah, 91%. But for me, the only reason I'm breaking this down is because I'm considering putting it in top ticket, because if you do Bo Nickel inside the distance, it's minus 650. But if I'm gonna play it, I'm gonna do that. The conversation in that fight is first round or not, but even round one is minus 200. Anyways, Bo Nickel minus 650 inside the distance. Fareed Basharat minus 450, more chalk, but I like it better than some of the other heavy lines in this one. Then I'm tempted to make Tabatha Ricci the third leg of that parlay, just throw like 3 or 4 units on it, and that gets you to like plus 125-ish or plus 115. It's even money or thereabouts. So that's a solid. I think that's the way I'm going to navigate the chalk. I don't really want to throw Tabatha Ricci into a multi-unit parlay like that and really trust in her. But at the same time, man, Jessica Penne, 40 years old. I believe she has OnlyFans. I'm a believer in the OnlyFans betting model. I like to bet against the fighters that have OnlyFans. That's another thing working against her. And yeah, I think Tabatha Ricci should win this fight 9 times out of 10. It's just like she doesn't excel. It's women's MMA, and this fight could just be greasy and just end up setting me back 3 or 4 units for no reason. So let me know what you think about that, guys. Putting Tabatha Ricci in the top ticket. I'm tempted to do it because, again, the whole card is chalky, and I'd rather do that than put in like Ian Gary and Valentina Shevchenko at like 8-1, 7-1, and have to worry about 2 fights. And Ian Gary, man, I'm not too sold on the hype train yet. He has like that Conor McGregor syndrome where he thinks he's Conor McGregor, giving like speeches after he wins like a split decision against Darian Weeks. It's just, I don't know. I'm not looking to bet Ian Gary at 7-1, that's for sure. But yeah, we'll see. Let me know what you think about Tabatha Ricci top ticket. I think she wins this fight 9 times out of 10, like I said, but she doesn't necessarily inspire confidence. So thanks for watching, guys. Sure, subscribe and take it easy.